This is HTX driving light install on a Toyota Hilux. So the HTX has got the LED ring around the outside and the HID center, so we're going to use our dual switching harness. Tools needed for the install, you can use a multimeter. We could also use a light tester for this install. So I like to lay the harness out first. There's dual relays, so this is a twin switching system, so it's got the dual relays, and then plugs that go into the lights, the Deutsch 4-pin plug going into the lights. There's our switching wires, we'll run through those after. We're going to use the Lightforce switches for this install, and we can run through, once we run the wires to the cab, we can run through how they'll get plugged in to switch the two separate circuits, the LED and HID sections of the light. Gaining access, so once we're into the bonnet, we need to remove the radiator cowling. Just be careful of these trim clips, they can become quite brittle with age or heat, so just remove them carefully, making sure we don't break them, and then take out the radiator cowling, fit the lights up to the vehicle. These need to be torqued up to the correct specifications, so 35 Newton meters for the side bolts. That'll give the headlight the vertical adjustment on the light, and we're going to use the lock bolts, security nuts to prevent theft of the driving lights. Plenty of access through the grille, so we can push the 4-pin connectors back through the grille, ready for connection to the wiring harness. Lay the harness out within the engine bay. The battery's on the left in this Hilux, so we're going to run the wiring to the left side of the engine bay. And to mount the fuse holder, we need to pop the fuses out, and then you can use self-tapping screws to locate and secure the relay holder inside the engine bay, and then once secured, we can pop the relays back in. Feed the wires that will power the lights, run them in behind the battery and the fuse box. Just keeps them out of the way, and make sure that when they run to the front of the vehicle, we're going to tuck them in nice and neat behind the headlight to gain access in front of the radiator, behind the grille. Keeps them away from moving objects, the fan, engine cooling fan, hot radiators, and then we can plug them into the lights. And then we need to secure those cables, make sure they're not going to foul in any moving objects. There's plenty of room on the Hilux in behind the left headlight there, between the headlight and the radiator support grille. We can run it through there, nice and neat, keeps them out of the way. Good access, and then zip tying the cables back so they won't flap, rub, chafe on any moving objects. Earth point for the relay, so we can run that. There's another earth point, we've just used a self-tapping screw. We can use the optional patch harness as a Lightforce product, and this saves you having to cut into your high beam wires. We can use the patch harness there, which we can then wire straight back into our dual switching wiring loom. May need to alter the terminals, depending what terminals we may need alteration on the patch harness to the dual switching harness terminals. We tape the switch wiring. All the switch wiring needs to be secured together because we need access through to the cabin of the vehicle. So taping all the switch wires together keeps them all nice and neat and makes them easier to go through into the engine bay. From the engine bay into the cab, cutting off the back of the grommet will give you plenty of access. Push it through. When doing this as well, it may be necessary to use some form of dry lubricant or silicone spray. Will make it a lot easier to force the switching wires through the grommet into the cabin of the vehicle. We need to remove the passenger front footwell trim panel. Once again, be careful with these clips. They can snap quite easily, so just use caution when removing them. The side footwell trim needs to come off also, and the footwell upper tray, small clips in there, release, and then removing the tray. Once again, being careful not to snap the clips. Pulling back the carpet and the sound insulation, you'll see where the wires are coming through the grommet, and then you can feed them through into the cab, up across the top of the transmission tunnel, over to the driver's footwell, where we're going to wire the switches in. We can now replace all these trims, once again using caution when reconnecting the clips. Popping out the switch panel, and we can take one of the switch blanks out. We're going to use our dual switch, which is available for the dual switching harness. Switch connection shown. So this only takes up one of our switch blanks, and we need to find a illumination source for the switch. So that's where our dash illumination is. So when we turn our headlights on, the Lightforce switch will illuminate as well. And then once wired in, we can clip it back in. Nice neat install there, so it's only taking up one of our switch panels for the HID and LED illumination of the switch. We need to find an earth point on the vehicle, so we've gone straight to the battery terminal for the earth point of the lights. And we need to pick up a power source, which also we've gone to the direct to positive terminal. Fuse needs to be secured somewhere where it's accessible, so if there's ever any issues down the track, we can access the fuse to see if we've got a blown fuse. So we need to secure this somewhere where we can take the top off the switch cover, off the fuse cover. Popping the clips back in the radiator cowling and testing the lights.